I'm going to put the sound down pretty low in that case. Thanks so much to Peppermint Nightmare for that, by the way. Oh, is that the Quake Champions Pro thing? Oh, God, okay. Sigh. But, you know, at the same time, fair enough. I guess, maybe. So this is official. This is Tox versus GaRpY. This is, again, round 1, day 1, QuakeCon 2019. As they're trying to assess their global rankings. And in this, we've got pretty much what we just saw in our last VOD review, except it's Corrupted Keep, and we've got Tox on Galena, GaRpY on Eisen. Galena is a popular champion on this map. Sometimes you ask me why, and I can't always give a straight answer, but there's a lot of good places that you can put your totems. You can put lots of blocks in important locations. And again, if you're wondering if the sound's not high, it's because there's a lot of background noise, as you'll hear. So we're keeping it reduced a little bit. If we do hear some Tox emotions, then I'll go back to it. There's sound, guys. There is sound. So I think that damage was pretty much exclusively on the turret. When he moves through, that one rocket's really nice positionally. Mega should be up in a moment. I haven't actually been keeping enough of a track, but it's at that kind of standard rotation point, just a few seconds after the minute, or after the half minute. And he should have seen GaRpY there. Easy, like, delay. There's a delay on heavy, which makes it a super easy double pickup for him. Is he going to go over the totem until he exit? No. He's either using it for combat or for another spot. He just launches a totem aggressively at the turret. He really needs some rocket ammunition. It's almost worth getting rockets or rocket ammo on the way to heavy, but he's cutting off GaRpY over here, moving to center map, because GaRpY was there. It gives him a bad entrance now towards the heavy. Somehow he actually manages to get the damage onto GaRpY with that totem. But everything at the start here, this first 2 minutes, is really, really good for the Tox. Solid on the control. Weapons could surely get better, but his LG is decent. Somehow, though, GaRpY hits like some ridiculous rockets. A little extra turret damage as well. And the thing is, the problem is there you don't have rockets, you can't get that collateral damage at the same time, so some of that lightning gun damage could have actually been transferred onto the turret in itself. Otherwise, I thought it wasn't a bad fight to pick, but it's that ammo management that is so important that we know that Tox has slipped up on in the past. Though he does make sure that he can refrag straight away off the spawn and keep this frag advantage going. There's some weird sounds on this video, oh my god. Apologies if the quality looks a bit iffy, it's because I'm rebroadcasting a video. And again, he goes aggressively in. This, yet again, is the first match these players have. So they're certainly still like feeling each other out a little bit. But there's definitely some aggressive pushes. We know that Tox is confident in his own ability. That rocket from GaRpY, by the way, was like extraordinarily good. Not just for the damage, but the fact that Tox was still up by the lightning gun spawn, and he has to move really badly out of position to try and get himself away. And GaRpY does the right thing by pushing in aggressively and securing a kill and securing the lead against Tox. And Tox to 100 and weapons doesn't look too bad. But for some reason, he's pushing back on this angle, which is already dangerous. He manages to not die from that, which is good. But I feel like moving up towards the lightning gun is a little bit of an unnecessary risk. And I don't even know where that rocket came from GaRpY, but it was a perfect rocket. And that LG from GaRpY was actually pretty damn good. Saw that Tox is trying to sort of block the damage with the totem, but he's not able to do that in time. He wants that light armor, but if he goes to the light armor, he is going to take more damage than it's worth. Or certainly more damage than the light armor will protect him from. So he has to back away from it. Now that light armor hasn't been taken, he can go to it. But you can see he's trying to make sure that GaRpY pays a price for picking up the heavy armor. And he does a little damage. So overall, kind of worth it. But now he's back up at this position, which can be hard to get out of. However, those zoning rockets force GaRpY away. Let's see if he can actually walk out. GaRpY is going to let him get out of there. And I think that's because GaRpY wants to set up over for the next heavy armor. So a very solid control game at the moment from GaRpY. Making sure that Tox has to keep restacking up. Ooh. Right, that was a nasty rocket. And he's making sure that he gets to the items as well on time. Now, Tox has a good position to do damage if Mega's picked up. He does way more than Mega's worth it there, so he should be able to get this kill. But since he goes through the teleporter, he gives GaRpY a small out to escape. And he wants to make sure that he still has a bit of a stack. It's not desperate for him to pick up the kills now. But he needs to start creating a plan to pick up a frag in the next minute and a half. And now with that direct rocket, this is like the cue for him. He's got a great stack. He's now got weapons. He's cutting off over at this light armor so that GaRpY can't go to it easily himself. But he needs to chase him down. Splishy splash. Perfect weapons being used at the moment for him. And there's just no way that GaRpY can get out of there anymore. Heavy's going to be up fairly soon, I think. There are 2 light armors up on the map. That was one good defensive rocket. Really aggressive jump up. But GaRpY's kind of left. As he really wants to hold on to this lead at the moment. It's going to do anything to protect it. Rockets are kind of easy for GaRpY to get, but lightning gun maybe not so. I don't think he's got the LG yet. But now with the ammunition back in hand, he needs to do that entry damage so that he can force a position where he can rush in. That rocket was decent, and now this is perfect. This should tie it up. And again, I don't know why he doesn't get the extra rocket ammo. He's trying to get over towards the heavy as fast as possible, but these weapons on the floor, I mean, it's just free ammo where he doesn't have to worry about that ammo management. And that's really the only way you can easily get above 10 rockets on you. And that LG just ridiculous as usual. He doesn't take much damage, so he should be able to keep the control going now. Yeah, overstacked Mega. He's denying the lights. In about 10 seconds, there should be the heavy, maybe even less. It's actually up now, never mind. It's a big shame for him that he wasn't able to do extra heavy machine gun damage there, and that only one of the bullets hit. But he's now one totem away from being able to overstack. Now Tox takes the lead. Looking for spawn frags, but knows that control is also important still. And he should have an easy pickup on the heavy. So now for GaRpY to get back in, he's got to find an outrageous way to do damage to him. Yeah, this is so much damage from him. So much damage. There's the heavy. One of the totems taken down. And then the Mega, I think, up in a couple of seconds. Two good defensive rockets. That starts to add up a bit now. It should be less than 5 now for the heavy to spawn. GaRpY's been really aggressive. He's realized that this heavy is what stands between him getting back in the game, or Tox perpetuating his control and keeping this one frag advantage. GaRpY goes aggressive, and he gets the kill like the same second that Mega spawns, but a little sooner in that second. And now Tox. I mean, that's a really aggressive way to go. You spawn by rockets, moving in that direction, you're kind of asking for a fight. If he backed away a little bit, then he would have been able to survive, and he could have a chance at slowing the game down a bit. And wait till the heavy is coming out, so that GaRpY's going to want to pick it up himself. But instead, Tox makes this aggressive push with, like, not the best infrastructure to hold on to the tied game. And now it's up to Tox to do something like crazy and aggressive. And there's a jump down from GaRpY at a really good moment. There's the heals. No rockets, which could be a problem. And he keeps switching over to the rockets, but that click comes out. And that jump down, I think Tox feels this is the moment for it, and this might be where GaRpY shuts down the game. You can get a little health, but you've got 10 seconds. You've got no time to stack up properly. I think he's going through hoping that some more resources will be there. And GaRpY's going to get away from that. I don't think GaRpY would have been that healthy. I think he was probably sub 100 resources there. But Tox commits to a fight too early on. And GaRpY's not hitting bad lightning gun, as you can see. Like, he's not doing a bad job at all. And also some defensive rockets that have been good from GaRpY. It feels weird to force the fight when you still had 5 to 10 seconds where you could stack up maybe an extra 40 resources or so and pick possibly a better position to start the fight. And I think really, like, when it was 6-6, when he rushed towards the heavy machine gun light armor from spawn, I think that was really brash. If he holds on rocket and GaRpY still wants to push through, it's going to be a lot easier to hit some defensive rockets and then not commit to the fight. Or at least you're gonna give yourself the possibility of having defensive rockets, escaping the fight on your terms, and then GaRpY going to want to heal himself before committing to a fight to you again. So we can go on to map 2. GaRpY 1-0 up. And I hear a lovely amount of background noise in this VOD. Are there profanities on this map? I mean, obviously, like, everything I say is, yay, Captain Hindsight. And hopefully some of it's accurate. But all these guys doing all this on the fly, again, it's really difficult to have perfect games. Really, 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 really almost impossibly difficult. But it happens sometimes, and when you see it, it's just outrageously good. And I think really the championship match is as close as we got to perfect gameplay. But we start now with Visor versus Ranger. Tox is definitely going to be wanting to keep an eye out on the orb combos. He's already hit one rail, and he's managed to pick up both major items. So GaRpY's kind of stumped himself off the map. And there's like 2 rails now landed. This should be a kill coming up for GaRpY really, really soon. Even if he's respecting the fact that dire orb combos can come out, it should be a comfortable advantage for him. And I'd expect him to go 1-0 within the next... by 10 seconds after Heavy's picked up. Okay, a movement error. Is he going to pay for it? Oh dear lord. But he can't really find those extra angles. He's trying to still hold position on the items at the moment. And GaRpY's being kind of good about not committing to a fight. He's about 100-100 right now. Mega's going to be up in this second. And now Tox, he wants the rocket ammo and he wants to guard Heavy. He should have perfect timing on it. But those rails that happen at the beginning are obviously totally meaningless at this point. He needs to find a way to go in. There's a nice chase on that orb, in fact. Tries to fake it around a little bit, but that defensive there, that's the STFU rocket. And even this Mega, you can tell that rocket's made it so that GaRpY can challenge the Mega, even with the algae to rail combo. He's now on 3 HP. He maybe would have liked to have stolen the Heavy, but it's that defensive rocket that was just insane. And Tox still feeling like he could challenge on the Mega health. When he had to back away a little bit. He needed to poke and prod and not commit towards the Heavy, because by that point it was already like, well played GaRpY. pushing through on this, that's a comfortable frag for GaRpY. But, you know, when you've had a stack advantage for so long, you hate to be giving up the map to your opponent. And GaRpY, that's a good orb. That's securing the frag without having to take extra damage. If he goes under the LG, who knows? Maybe he could have taken another rail. So he had to close out that frag as soon as he could. And there's still a while until the Mega Health's going to be up. There's 100 HP for Tox. Moves back in. GaRpY, I think, is pretty low at this stage, actually. So GaRpY should be getting the Mega Health. He's just picked it up. Now he's going to go over towards Heavy. Tox looking for a tight rail angle. That's a nice rail shot. But GaRpY's still got an advantage on health and armor. Why had every play yellow opponent outline? Well, you can set it yourself, so maybe some people have decided that yellow is optimal. Moving over LG, the fact that he jumped into that angle really, really hurts him a lot. And GaRpY kind of messes up his shots afterwards, but GaRpY caught him as he was basically falling down from his jump, which meant that that fight was very difficult for Tox. But then GaRpY moves in for the fight in Banana, and then ends up taking more damage than he gives out, which then means that Tox is all of a sudden kind of wins that situation, despite being 0-3 down. It's this interesting, like, back and forth, knowing that these little moves and counter moves can suddenly change how the next 30 seconds of play are dictated. I'm surprised that he didn't push through the teleporter, but I think he realized that that orb is out, and now he's got a window of opportunity of about 20 to 30 seconds where he can push in for a kill. So he shouldn't have missed that rail. He absolutely shouldn't have missed that rail. Which kind of slows him down a little bit, because now GaRpY's getting pretty close to having his orb back. Probably sub 10 seconds. That was a nice little poke from him there. Piercing sight. Really wants to hit that shot. GaRpY probably would have heard him there. He's looking for some vertical rockets, and he's done amazing damage. And I think Tox there is upset that he took so much damage and wasn't able to get those defensive shots in. But his LG, again, his LG is like buying him space in this round. He's even going to push through. He's really trying to avoid a rail, even more so than the rocket. And as soon as that rail comes out and misses, he knows he can push on for that Mega Health. And that he might even have time for this Heavy, because it's kind of like full in a rotation behind. That rail is, by the way, like incredibly disgusting. Like really, really disgusting rail. 50 LG ammo left. And GaRpY finds himself with his pants around his ankles there. Like he has no way out in this instance. He's just forced to maximize on damage, and he didn't really do that much. And now Tox is 175, 100. And in a second he's going to be 175, 175 unless GaRpY can do anything about that. GaRpY needs to get himself to 100, 100. He needs to make sure he has the rockets, LG, and rail. He should have LG and rail. I don't know if he's got well, he's definitely got rockets now. And these defensive rockets and LG, that's good work actually from GaRpY. But it's losing the fight after. You do all that entry damage, but you still need to be able to follow it up to reduce that pressure. Even though that's piercing sight, that's an incredibly good shot from Tox. And he hears that teleporter being used, which means, okay, I get that Mega Health for free. And he just wants to get out of this low position because he's quite vulnerable to damage from the high ground. As you can see, he loses a lot of that armor. He loses some of that overstack. And this spam from GaRpY is very good as well. He's doing a great job at holding on to his lead. And Tox is just being under immense pressure. He needs to be able to fire back just as hard. So this Heavy now, he's escaped and kept onto it. And he hits that rail. Again, piercing sight, but like difficult shots. Even with like full knowledge, the technical, the mechanical ability to have there to land them is still pretty big. VOD, please. Okay, I don't even know what happened there. Did, like, his whole network lag? Sounds like... It looks like Tox lagged there completely. I don't really know what else could have happened, but it sounds like the case. I doubt he would have done much damage to GaRpY then at all. I don't think he would have done any. And by the way, my thoughts on the lag is like, I don't know why it's happening, and it really is one of my very, very few criticisms of QuakeCon, because I think overall it was a very good event, but there's no way that players should be getting any lag at all. It just can't happen at this kind of level of competition. And it's something that needs to be taken care of. If we were to do something similar next lands, like, yeah, please fix. Anyway, Tox has got full control, so even though he had like the shitty situation going on, he still managed to get some good resources to work with. And that's like, holy shit, what just happened to my life? Let's like look at that frag again, because that is just outrageous. Like this combo that he has here, this is what gets him properly back in the game. That rocket, that's over 60 damage. That's insane. That is totally insane to hit that shot. And even though he has the wrong weapon as he goes in there, he's got such a stack advantage. It doesn't matter. And now GaRpY's like in desperation mode. He's just trying to get weapons, and he's trying weapons to defend his position and to get away from like Tox to begin with. And that like what? He finds him again, isn't able to land the damage. And now, at this stage, GaRpY's panicking. He's just trying to do some damage to slow it down. He knows the game's about to be tied up anyway, so it's about mitigating the level of control that Tox has. Aggressive orb to get this. Like, this is a big there was a big chance. If GaRpY had the machine gun, I think that would have been an even better weapon to have out. But there was definitely a world there where GaRpY takes the lead again just there. However, as it stands, it's going to be both major items that are taken by Tox. And I know that the quality is like bad on the restream, guys, but it is what it is. So I'm sorry I can't do better. I'm playing at the highest quality I possibly can. I'm going to go back to that frag though afterwards, because it's properly crazy, like properly crazy. But there's like a big psychological advantage at the moment that Tox has, and also a control advantage. Like, even though Tox would have been tilted earlier, the fact that everything there has gone his way is just good news for him, and terrible news for GaRpY. Like, to regain the psychological edge and take the map when you're already 1-0 up, and to take the map away from Tox, I mean, I would be amazed if GaRpY could do that. Absolutely amazed. Tox's stream was low quality doing the whole... Oh, that sucks. I guess some players would have tried to have it as low as possible. So he's expecting GaRpY to go up the bounce pad there. And that's actually not a bad play at all from GaRpY, but that tri-bolt damage, like, that's really painful. But I really like the play from GaRpY to not go up the bounce pad, hold his ground, and kind of fake out that he is going up the bounce pad. And GaRpY should have been able to finish the job here. He really should have. He knew he got him low. I think I even spoke to him about this point after. And he was kind of weak as well. I think he was sub 100 HP, and he was thinking, should he go in and go for that golden opportunity? And now all of a sudden you hit the rail, you got piercing sight. There's a big chance that you can close it out yourself there. Again, both players have had opportunities now to close the game. But there's about 15 seconds till the next big item, which is the heavy. And Tox is in a good position at the moment, so he doesn't need to overplay this. He's done good damage. And he needs to not take damage like that. But orb's been used, a bit of misdirection, which isn't bad from GaRpY, but now he's kind of stuck in that side area. Another opportunity for Tox to close out the map. And this is where GaRpY's totally stuck. He just does not know what to do. He's trying to figure out where the hell do I go? What do I do? Another rail on him, and right now I'm pretty sure it's going to be GG on this map in just a second. Like he's got so little to work with. I don't think he has an orb either. A rocket jump over is also not a bad idea. Looks like that's what Tox wants to do. It's just like, where the hell is he? You can see he's hunting for that frag. He knows there's so few resources on the map. If he doesn't get it in the next 5 to 10 seconds, it's more likely that he's not going to be able to get it at all. At least until there's a possible change of control and the situation develops again. And that orb for misdirection, that uses one of the few tools that GaRpY has to stay alive at all. And he's back to square nothing. Another rail. And there's a follow-up rail too. Like, there's a really, really sick way for Tox to close out the map. I love that he's chasing the frag ahead of going for control, but also making sure that he cuts his losses when he does chase the frag, and he does go back for those items eventually. But GaRpY panic stations, I think, after those ridiculous things happened earlier on. Let's see, where the hell did it happen? Was it before? Oh no, there was like a lag thing, wasn't there? Yeah, just here. Someone's saying I can do that. Yeah, I can look at it frame by frame. I mean, you can see how difficult this is to work with. See, it pushes in. If I had as much money as there are pixels on the screen, I'd be very poor. So rocket good. Are we going to even be able to see the angle at which he hits the rail? So looking at like obstacles he's got at this point. At this point, you're just going off muscle memory of knowing what that angle is. You're just having a guess. You don't have time to register. You're just going for the spam shot. Like, there's just not enough frames there. He kind of cuts him at like his feet as well. That's brutal. Frames on stream is like, alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 frames of this stream, which looks like it's running at 30 FPS or something. Yeah, not much to work with. Anyway, we can go back to this. We're 1-1 in the series. But that comeback is like, that puts him in such a dominant position moving into the next game. So it's Sorlag versus, it won't be Ranger, I don't know what it is. Go, guys. Go, go, go. Alright. Tox swearing is your new ringtone. Is that an admin? I can't tell who that was. And again, guys, in terms of like quality of stream, etc., this is a re-stream of a VOD. Tox is streaming low quality, and the background noise is because he forgot to turn his microphone off. And I can't go to GaRpY's point of view because he doesn't even have any sound at all. So it's the first game as well, though, at the tournament, so I believe they iron out their issues later on. Anyway, we got a Mega Spawn from GaRpY, from Tox. He's going straight over to the Mega after Rockets. He's Sorlag versus a Doom. So there's a couple of things to watch out for, and now he has to be careful going down to LG, because one of the obvious things to do off the start is to guard that lightning gun for the first rotation of items, and try to get some kind of payoff from it, and hope that your opponent attacks it, and that you can either do damage or even get yourself a kill. And actually, GaRpY feels that he's already left completely, so he's ready to say, okay, I'm going to go over to heavy now. Tox totally punks him there. By looking over when GaRpY was certain that you know, Tox would wait till after the next rotation of items to go for the lightning gun, or even drop down towards rail. So he still doesn't have LG, but he's hit 3 rails in a like those rails are disgusting. And in that mind, GaRpY's playing the game almost mathematically, feeling like it's mathematically improbable that he's going to hit that many shots. And now there's a lightning gun. He's just going to chase him. It should be easy, easy, easy. So 3-0 so fast. Thanks to very smart play at the beginning. Great mechanical execution afterwards. And then being able to find that spawn frag. Rail. There's spit there to slow GaRpY down a little bit. He's not railable, but you can see that he's treading carefully, making sure that he can pick up the heavy armor without taking extra damage. Or at least if he is going to take extra damage, that he can dish out some himself. Now this becomes hard to commit to. LG versus LG. And GaRpY did tell me that he pressed his berserk ability several times by accident. I'm trying to work out which time is by accident and which time is on purpose. But I didn't dislike his usage of it there. He quickly sneaks over towards the mega health. And he's got some weapons to work with too. So it's not bad right now for GaRpY. That combo is just... That's just nice. The fact that there's a double jump going on there as well doesn't really help GaRpY. But there's that rocket entrance from Tox. It's like that. The rocket there was a really, really hard shot. Akron really wants to hear the profanities. You might have to remind me closer to time. I'll try my best to remember. The control's pretty steady at the moment for Tox. He doesn't really need to take any risks. Moving through there without checking or knowing or even having the right... I think he walked out with the rail out. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And now GaRpY's done tons and tons of damage. This has put Tox in a really awkward position. I wonder if he can even get onto this heavy. I don't think he can. I think he's just walking past it before the rotation's even there. So he's got spit that he can possibly use defensively. He's seen that the Mega's there, but now GaRpY is about to get full control. And getting full control for GaRpY at this stage of the map is very nice. It's a shame that he's had to give up 4 kills already, but this does give him a chance to get back in. There's the acid. It's only 50 damage or so. Just over 50 damage. So it's not much. And that acid now will have trickled away. Hello. It's it's either July or August every year. It kind of changes. Good defensive rocket. He knows that he's there again, but again, these rails and the fact that he's not taking that much damage, taking his time to get up to the top. Like, he's slowly making his way back in, and when he gets another light armor, then GaRpY really needs to worry. As it stands, GaRpY would still be happy to have a fight. Tox is starting with his movement. LG on LG, even with the larger hitbox. It's not bad, but he misses a rocket. I think Tox is a little bit emotional there. I think he's annoyed that that rocket didn't hit. Or that he like didn't hear him like charging in again. So what's really cool about the pick for GaRpY there is that even though the acid's gone down, he can just double jump right over them where you otherwise wouldn't be able to make that gap. Even with Nyx, it would have been pretty annoying to avoid that. So, GaRpY still... It almost reminds me of like the Elder map where you need a key to walk through the door. He just needs to double jump and he can get through. LG is hitting. GaRpY's not done some bad damage at all, actually, and a clutch rail from him would secure him the kill. But Tox does a good job getting the hell out of there. And he's really, really low on ammo right now. So he's got rockets again. He's got rail again, but it is GaRpY who's doing tons and tons of damage. But GaRpY's also neglected that item, so Tox still has stack to work with. You see he's being a bit more careful walking around the corner now. And that peak rail, he's already gained the data on like the first go through, so he knows roughly where he is. Then he can use his just insane aim to lock down the shot. Okay, that rocket gives GaRpY a possibility. Now, using the Berserk just there, I'm not really sure why he did that. That looks like a big mistake from GaRpY. And I know that he did use, as I mentioned, he used Berserk by accident a couple of times, which it's not an excuse. Like, you just straight up shouldn't be doing that, you know? But I think GaRpY's played very well throughout this series, given how much time he's, like, had to practice compared to Tox. I think GaRpY's... because I know you guys want to hear it. I don't know what he's saying now. I think he's just excited about having dinner with GaRpY's family later. Oh, it does actually hit a bit of acid. That rail doesn't hit. It was just the acid damage. I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, that rail hit. But then, in retrospect, it didn't at all. GaRpY catches him out at a nice spot at the moment. That vertical rail hurts a lot. So there's a big, big chance for GaRpY to come back in. But the Berserk, like, why does the Berserk come out there? Like, these little moves from GaRpY, again, if that's a Berserk error, that's like almost game costing. The fact is he does manage to catch him out over at the Mega later on. And it turns out to be fine, but that's like super sketchy. Super, super sketchy from GaRpY. I've got full natural stack. Did he hit the rocket? He did hit the direct rocket, so GaRpY's like stuffed when it comes to HP. The thing is, GaRpY is as well, so it's a question of who's got bigger balls right now. And he goes up. I think Tox, it looks like he had no idea that he was there, but it was a very risky play to make. And GaRpY at the moment is like well on his way to coming back. 2 good rockets. He's already done some entry damage anyway. And now Tox needs to just survive. Which shouldn't be too difficult. If he doesn't overcommit to major items, it shouldn't be impossible for him whatsoever. So he's just trying to listen more than do anything himself. And GaRpY's very quick picking up that angle. You can hear that. That was a direct rocket, I'm pretty sure. He's a breakaway. He's done 200 damage in quick succession there. And that's going to give him the heavy if he's kept that timing, which he has. So GaRpY's desperation to push in for a kill or to push in for items. And Tox's perfect defensive rockets have all of a sudden turned this situation around to favor Tox by a decent margin. He's got that stack that he needs to protect himself to the end of the game. There's going to be one final rotation of items, but the next heavy is going to be like 10 seconds away from the map ending anyway. And Tox is a frag up. So GaRpY's got to take all risks possible very, very soon against a champion who's got even better mobility than Doom. So 10 seconds away. I think Tox is just trying to hide the hell. I think he heard Connector being under pressure. And I'm pretty sure GaRpY actually finds him. Now so close to not getting a telefrag of some sort there. But it's GG and Tox wins the series. But that's a really, really close game for Tox. And I think a game that Tox could not afford to lose at this stage in the competition. This should have been like a free win for Tox, if I'm totally honest. At 2-0, I'd say. But GaRpY showing that he doesn't match up that badly against Toxic. and can very nearly secure a 2-0.